We're
Hi.
back. We're talking with subscriber Karmic Kitty, and she is one of my subscribers who can decode very well. And I've noticed her in my comments, and I reached out to her as well as a few other of you guys. And we're going to be doing a discussion live, and she's on the phone right now. And just speaking about decoding, how it changes her life, how it changes my life, how it changes you guys' life, and things that she has discovered about herself as well as other people and other things, and just a general broad discussion and whatever she wants to talk about. So, everyone, welcome, Karmic Kitty. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, Shira.
Can y'all hear her okay? Or does she need to be, the volume need to be lower or higher? Everybody can hear her? Okay. Everybody's saying hey. Okay, so
Hey.
the volume is good. The volume is good. Okay, so I'll start off by asking you a question.
Okay.
What led you on the path of wanting to learn how to decode? Or have you always done it naturally and didn't know it? Or, what led you down the path?
So I always have been a person to ask deeper questions and never really gotten, the answer that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, grow up with going to church and religion and all that. And as I started to get older, these little stories taken literally was not doing it for me.
Right.
So be hit with resistance. You go home, be told, study a Bible, go home, read a passage that, you just wanted more questions on, and then go and try to talk to that passage from the elders, and they would just try to say, okay, you're doing too much, doubt come from the devil, and all that. And it was like, okay, I'm just done with it. So I left church and just started researching on my own, and I went into spirituality more of, just understanding a connection with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you really think about it, religion tries to take you out of nature.
Right. That's true.
So once you tap into that, and then you have other experiences that really, try to, destroy you, but really they actually open you up depending on how you look at it.
Exactly.
That's where you get the deeper meaning of things. And I've always been, reading things because I was, kind of ostracized. I was different than my classmates. I grew up in New England.
Mm-hmm.
So I always looked different than my classmates and was treated differently. And I always wondered what that was. What was up with that they had this a connection, that they were backed and supported by everything.
Right.
And it's really that's a status, that's a class, that's an attitude. And it has really nothing really to do about skin tone.
Right.
But everything to do about energy.
Exactly.
So you'll see me in the comments always trying to get us to really break open what that black word is and all that, but I won't get into that.
Yeah. I've noticed that, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. So if you would like to say what that is, it's up to you or not. But so many people are so young and just starting out and, just trying to get their head wrapped around the basics. And so they haven't made it that far yet. So that's kind of why I still have to use the certain lingo in terms for, people to understand who aren't all the way there yet,
Yes.
And
I do appreciate that because, when I first started, you'd be like, okay, slow down, in the comments.
No,
I get that now because if you really try to give it all, it is overwhelming.
Mm-hmm, it is. But, they'll come to it eventually, and then they'll start saying the same thing. But you got to let people find it on their own. Okay, so I wanted to ask you another question. How has decoding or learning to see the code in everyday mundane things that seem mundane but really are not mundane? They're very coded. Like, for example, speeches, movies, lyrics to songs, commercials. How has that changed your life?
It has taken anxiety out of what would be looked at as scary or fearful, something to run away from. Dick Gregory will always say, look for the rip in the fabric of the story. He was talking about news stories, even in the headlines, the titles. Look for the rip in the fabric of the story. I went on to think I was going to go to college for, communications being a news broadcaster. But when I went through that internship and really how they create the news, I thought you would just find somebody with a good story and that's it. But no, they create.
So it's fake news for real?
Exactly.
So Donald Trump is right about fake news?
Donald Trump is right about that.
So you want to be a newscaster, and then you saw how everything worked, and you were like, no, this is not for me, fake news.
Exactly. And the things that I would think, would be worthy of being covered, somebody doing something positive in the community, that was not going to sell.
Mm-hmm. So.
And I finished my internship, and I was done with that.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people would have just done it just to be on television or whatever. But I understand, because I would have probably gotten fired if I had taken a job like that too. But I would have gotten fired on air, like a few people have, just to make a scene, because But okay, so what's one thing that you have decoded that has totally changed your life? One thing that you have discovered and you decoded that totally changed the way you view life altogether, just a big major thing. Is there one thing or many things?
It is many things, because once it's almost like it's like a frequency. So it comes in. It comes in so strong. You're like, okay, sometimes you gotta put that book down or put that, dictionary down and all that, and just give yourself a break and come back to center. But that Martin Luther King speech, and everybody want to call him a Mason and all that, and he would sell out. Okay, but look at that speech. So there is a book, I think it's by Kadir Nelson, about I Have a Dream, his speech. It's very, it's written for children. It's very nicely illustrated. And at the end of that book, at the back is the actual CD copy of the speech.
So the speech is coded.
The speech is coded.
I've decoded that speech as well, but it was a while ago. It was a while ago, but I'm sure I could see way more in it now. I was simply decoding the mountaintops and the just so many things in there is super coded, and I feel that could be a topic of discussion one day, maybe for my video to decode that speech. And I mean, I would definitely re-decode it, because when you decode something and you don't have all the knowledge yet to decode it properly, you decode little bits of it. But I think now I have way more information that I could decode it much better. So I think I'm going to try to do that. They're saying that's a great idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea, because when you really realize those states that he said freedom will ring from, it's the indigenous tribes.
Okay, so the states.
When folks get out of their programming, the checking the box they usually check in, and realize that's the game. Mm-hmm. You're going to take yourself to a higher frequency.
Okay. Well, maybe we can decode it together. Maybe you can call back, or we can call back in and decode the speech together. That would be cool, and we can compare notes and see what we came up with.
I would love that.
Okay. And
so that speech, and again, Dick Gregory. I know he was a funny character. A lot of people like to call him an agent too. Listen, we're all agents of change, either agents of change or age of destruction.
Right.
Age of something wanting to bring new light or bring darkness. So please. But what he said was, "How come I know this stuff and y'all don't?"
Right.
That is so true. We're walking around with computers in our hand. Let's use it. You know how to Google a recipe, and I told my family this when I was trying to tell them. My mom, yes, she did grow up at a time. I had some difficult time with that whole race category thing too growing up, but not like my mom did. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine being taken from your neighborhood school that got kids that look like you, and then being bused to somewhere where people don't want you, and then having grown people show they behind. She got mooned walking to school. I couldn't imagine that now. Imagine that. But I still told her we still know in 2019 we got a computer in our hand. Let me show you these definitions. And even though you're saying part of the problem, they also give you the antidote too. And
so you grew up
about that.
You grew up in Maine?
I'm
sorry, Connecticut. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking Maine. Okay, so you grew up in. Okay, well, we grew up in Texas.
What's your name?
We grew up in Texas. My mom had worse than being mooned.
Oh no.
We were in the South, so
Yeah.
there was more than mooning over here. But we'll get into that another day. But anyway, so yeah, it made you think, why is there a difference? Why do people treat you differently? Why? It gets you to thinking, it gets you to, especially if you're not around people that look like you kind of go within automatically and you look to self for answers. But first, you're forced to do that.
Yeah. Why? I mean, childbirth. Why are women going against nature? Giving birth laying down instead of standing up. Supposed to deliver the baby standing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you get a C-section, they wait till you're about to need the C-section, and then what is that? That little needle in the back if you need the epidural. Okay, sign these papers in case we slip up and mess up. Sign these papers real quick when you're already in distress. So everything sometimes on a bigger scale, is. And
then they take your placenta and the papers. Yeah, all the papers that you signed allowed them to do that, and so it was in the fine print.
Yeah, the placenta is what they call the infant, not the actual baby. So when you leave that placenta behind, like a lot of people do, that gives them the right to say it's abandoned property.
Right. I asked for it back. I asked for mine back, and the nurse and the doctor looked at me crazy. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
And I asked her like 3 times, and she said no. So that was, that was like, wake up call. Why can't I have my placenta?
Right, it's yours.
Right. Also, okay, so you want to decode something real quick? Like, have you been decoding anything lately, or something that you would like to share with everybody? And then I'll take some questions from everybody in here.
Okay, well, those 2 songs, y'all know Erykah Badu, Window Seat.
Window Seat, okay.
And then, I'll just do a brief overview of that. Window Seat, so you said Windows was plasma, right?
Window Seat. I think for me, the window represents what I would call the cross, being able to see out of, outside of this realm. So, yeah.
So it just has her going to the site where JFK was said to be assassinated, and she is depicted as being assassinated. She before she actually gets assassinated, she takes off all her clothes, so she's in her natural form, bearing everything, and then
oh wow,
blood is blue. The blood is blue, and then it says groupthink. Now, if you play that backwards, really in your mind, groupthink. We do a lot of groupthink when we respond to these headlines, when we don't look at the obvious thing. I mean, the news story about that whole Amber case and then the witness getting murdered. Why would you come to court with a Dragon Ball Z shirt on? And someone in the comments brought that up too.
She had on a what? Dragon Ball Z?
The witness. Not Amber, but the Joshua guy.
Oh, okay.
Why are you wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt to court?
Right. Because everything is coded.
Okay. Exactly.
And when they show a court hearing, or when they show the court on television, it's all coded. You have to look at everything, because I noticed that in the trial for Conrad Murray, for the Michael Jackson thing, there was ridiculous things all through that courtroom that if you studied it, you would laugh. There was stuffed animals in there. There was. You just have to. If you go back, you'll laugh, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in that courtroom. But they're all symbols to help people decode what's actually going on. But yeah, window seat. So taking off her clothes, it represents shedding her body and becoming a soul, gamma ray. And then where they shot JFK, where she got shot, was he was trying to end segregation and give rights so that people could interact with each other. So that would push the race mixing to the next level.
And wanted to explore Mars and space study.
Right. Because that's what you need to be able to really make it out in space. So
Right.
she got shot because when he got shot, it killed or, postponed or created a way for those laws to pass through and for everyone to, be desegregated.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And then so when I watched that, and then when I also watched, a couple of people had asked, could you decode that song, The London? And that video right off the bat depicts the hotel, the London, all those windows,
Mm-hmm.
and then different scenes of what's going on in there.
Okay, so like if when you telling me the symbols, I can decode it, and with that, even I think I've watched it once. But a hotel is code for the earth.
Uh-huh. And so there was different things going on, and I think it was like a senator depicted with the call girl.
Mm-hmm.
So just when he says, on the money 1962 or something like that, type in that year. I mean, get out your computer and just start typing up that.
1962.
What happened in 1962 or something like that? He says, I don't know if anybody can Google it, but for his lyrics, he says on the money. So what's on the money?
In 1962?
At that time. Now don't quote me now. He says on the money, 61 something. The numbers are jumbled, but if you can put it into a 1960 something, just say, what happened?
Okay, I'm gonna put 1962 and see what happened in 1962 in pop culture. Let's see.
And it might not be that exact year, but if somebody can call it the lyric where he says on the money 61 something.
First live transatlantic television signal. Beatles sing "Love Me Do." Released. Oral polio vaccine. Marilyn Monroe was found dead. Cuban Missile Crisis, a lot of stuff.
Didn't Kennedy speak out against all that?
John H. Glenn becomes first American to orbit space. First Walmart discount store is open. Columbus Day storm. Everything bad.
Yeah. So do you see
all this crazy stuff? Yeah.
You can look deep into stuff, and if somebody's like not willing to go that deep, they're like, girl, too much.
Oh, and
but
the cost.
Really not too much when you start to make the connections a little bit.
Right, and then it gives like the cost of living and all that kind of stuff. Like, how if you just look up a year, it'll give all that. But yeah, very interesting. A lot of crazy things happening that year. They say you're good. She's good. Okay, so do y'all want to ask her a question? I'll pick out the most relevant question. So go ahead and ask. And we're going to wait on people to type in their question.
Okay. And shout outs to y'all who already do that. And love and support for those who get the slack, from family, friends, that they get too deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being too deep. It's just, you can just see it. It's not even deep. It's just we got connection to.
Okay, can you speak up a little bit louder? Because some people saying they can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I can, but I don't know if they can. So just speak a little bit louder.
Okay. So I'm just saying, shout outs to people who are already decoding. I see y'all in the comments.
Okay.
And, love and support for those who,
Okay, here's a question. I'm sorry. I get this question all the time. Do these artists and politicians know they are sending out codes, or is it the universe?
My mom had asked me the same thing, and there's always, a little cabal running things on the surface, but there's a bigger entity running things.
Right. I think it's a little bit of both, and I think it's because I'll look at my childhood drawings, and there's code in my childhood drawings, and before I even knew code. And I kept them, and I looked at them like a couple of years ago, and this is straight up code. I always knew, but I didn't know what it meant. But when you know what it means, you can turn it into an art form. You can make it, you can put it out at the correct time. So if they're putting it out at the correct time, and if it's in an art form, then yes, either they have ghostwriters, speech writers, or they know, or both.
Right.
So, I mean, what do you think about it?
I think, yeah, it's a little bit of both. Someone's, entity's running this thing, energy's running this thing, but also there's people that pick up on that frequency and they can do this. They can do it purposely to uplift people or enslave people.
Mm-hmm.
So it just
I think that's why in that movie, The Book of Eli, have you seen that movie with Denzel?
Yeah.
Why that guy wanted the Bible? Because it was power and he could control a bunch of people if he had it.
Yeah.
So someone is asking, who is this person and where did she learn to decode, and what is decode?
Who is this person? I'm a person who just decided to wake up.
Yeah.
She's
a subscriber.
How do I know this stuff and y'all don't?
Right. She's a subscriber on this channel and she's always commenting and decoding a lot of things. And I reached out to her to do this video. And decoding is seeing the deeper meaning and symbolism and hidden messages, right?
Yes.
In everything. Now, not everything is going to have code in it, just things that are pushed to you and written. And it's trying to help people wake up, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see some more questions. What tools do you use to decode Karmic Kitty, like books or sites, etc.?
So as far as tools, Google right there, definitely. Your etymology dictionary, which you can, download. Or you could, the name meaning. All this can really be Google.
Mm-hmm. That's how I do 90% of my research.
Just having just the knowledge of, about science. I mean, you don't have to go deep into it, but, stuff they try to tell you in school, stuff that you would snore on. I didn't really pay too much attention to certain things. I did like English. I did like writing.
Right. So let me see. What do you guys think of the birds dying at the NASCAR Hall of Fame? Is there code to that?
The bird dying?
Yeah, there's a bunch of birds that died at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. NASCAR. Halls of Amenti. Fame, bright shining light. Birds, souls, spirits. Yeah, spirits. Right. Spirits die in the Hall of Amenti. That's what I think.
Yeah.
The Hall of Amenti, if you've read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, is going towards the underworld. And that's where the spirits return back after they leave their bodies to be recycled, to do whatever they're going to do. Nas, N-A-S, or, that's like Egyptian for like Nazir, the Nas, the noose. And then car is like the vehicle, which is your spirit. And then birds represent able to fly around the earth, but they cannot leave out into the ethers. They are stuck on the earth.
Nasdaq, stocks, and all that.
Mm-hmm. So
might be falling soon. I don't know. I didn't
even hear about that, but just the symbols, that's how you decode. You get the symbols, you break down the words, you see what it represents, but you got to be well versed in, these ancient texts as well. And when you try to discuss it with folks, they just don't see the connection. Right. The Emerald Tablets aren't even that long. You can read it in a day. They have audio books online. But the point
right here on YouTube.
Exactly. I crystal links. Or you can listen to it online. Audiobook. Someone will read it to you. I know Man of Letters has a really good channel and he has music on his background and his voice is very nice. And that's how, by listening to his version of it, that's how a lot of things stood out to me more. I think it's also the voice, the tone of the voice that's reading it is very important because
Yeah, his
it has certain keys in it that will allow you to hear, and it will register deeper within, because of the
yeah,
vibration
how
of it.
he read it and he put a slight emphasis on it, breaks it down because the other recording that they have, he's trying to read through it too fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think he really, and plus he used music, which is sound, which is also vibrational. So he did a really good job. That's how I discovered him.
Okay.
So what do you think? Let me read some more questions. Hold on. And I'll let you answer it this time. And I'm just going to listen.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think that you've seen that movie yet. Someone asking if you could decode Maleficent, the mistress of evil, but I don't think that you've seen that, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, and Kanye's. I got the tickets. Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Next week it comes out, so I cannot wait. I think it's going to be 38 minutes long.
Oh, I gotta go find out where it's playing where I live. Okay, so here's another question. Yeah. Okay, Joe is asking, my question is, have you guys seen Ancient Aliens this season? Because a lot of information reminds me of Dr. Blair, The World Within. Still reading, by the way.
Okay.
So do you watch Ancient Aliens?
Yeah, I watch their clips on YouTube, and looks like they're revealing a lot, right?
Yeah, especially this last season. Oh my gosh, I'm like up there with my eyes open and talking to the TV like my husband does when they're playing football. So I'm like saying the answers before they say it, or revealing the stuff before they say it. And, I'm like, see, I told you. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think they're, they're going to do their little television thing, but just go on and keep going. Atlanta, Georgia was terminus before they, changed it.
Why do you think they're revealing it?
Mean?
What was Georgia? Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. So what was Georgia?
Say it again.
What was Georgia? You said something about Georgia used to be what?
Oh, terminus.
That was the name of it?
Mm-hmm. And someone even said, yeah, they noticed that that was one of the safe havens in Walking Dead. Yeah.
Interesting.
So what does terminus mean? It's a terminal.
Right, like a portal.
Yeah, portal, yeah. So
portal to Atlantis because it's on the coast too.
Exactly. So they're speeding up these shows and trying to drop this knowledge because is there an asteroid, gonna hit Earth?
Well, there's been one trying to come here for a couple of years, but we're in a time loop, so that's why it's not hitting it. I was going to ask you something about, have you noticed the moon was upside down? Like when it's in crescent form, and it's only supposed to be upside down if you are in the southern hemisphere, and we are not in the southern hemisphere. So why is the moon in a crescent shape upside down like a U or a smile? That's not how it's supposed to be in northern hemisphere.
Did a shift?
It was like that last year too, and the year before. If you go back, I think to 2017, that's when it first started happening. And then it's, I think we went through what I call a rewind very recently in October. And when I say a rewind, I mean, a lot of people felt this motion sickness or this nausea feeling as if they were on a ship or something like that during the last week or two. Did you feel any of this?
Me personally, not in the last week or two, but a couple of months ago I did.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so I'm wondering if it's hitting people at different times.
It could be. Maybe they do the shifts in separate locations at each time, who knows? But it's just strange that a lot of people have been having these weird symptoms. And the same thing last year. I thought it was just because I had gone on a cruise and it was like a month later, I was still feeling like I was like on a ship, but it wasn't. It was the same time. It was October. And they're putting October in a lot of these rap songs, talking about October and the song Gold Roses with Drake and Rick Ross. And then Scorpio, which is in October, that's the Drake's album. And also I think he's a Scorpio. I'm just hearing a lot of October and then like backmasking sounds in the background of rap music, like a rewind sound. So, I think I lost her. Let me call her back. That's her. Hold on one second. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay,
Not
sorry. No, you know what I think it was? Let me turn off this Bluetooth.
Okay.
Because I think it's hooking up to my husband's car or something every time he turns it on or whatever. So let me disconnect this Bluetooth. Okay. All right. So what do you think about the moon?
So the moon, it's good for letting you know where you are. It's just a satellite.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's created?
It can maybe be created because, I don't know, just the way it looks. It looks like a satellite, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think people want to know how do they rewind? Like, have you discovered how or why that we're in a time loop? How do we get in a time loop?
How do we get in a time loop? Well, so 2012 was supposed to be the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think we're stuck there.
Why?
Until we make some changes.
Like,
so
okay, so you said 2012? Okay.
So I was just trying to go back to what happened around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for me, from my experience, the whole Trayvon Martin thing,
mm-hmm.
and shot and doing protests all over. I mean,
I decoded that.
Things ignited here, but also stirred, overseas.
Right.
Were depicted overseas in media.
Right.
And so we have an invitation to look at that when it happens again in a different way, to react in a different way, or respond, I should say, in a different way.
So you think it's a frequency that's going to get us out of the time loop?
I think it's a frequency.
When all call, I will answer all your prayers.
Right.
That's a Michael Jackson lyric.
Yes.
That's from the song. What's it called? It goes, "You can change the world. I can't do it by myself. You're the chosen one." I think it's called
The Chosen One.
I don't know what the name of it is. I think I can't remember. They changed the title of it. But there's I think it's called Cry or something like that.
Cry.
Mm-hmm. It says if we all cry at the same time tonight. Okay, Mickey Simone is saying they turned the compass upside down and we are in the southern hemisphere. Reverse your map so you can see how the world really looks. Thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Hello. Yeah, sprinkle, sprinkle.
They have turned the compass upside down.
Yeah. We always go through pole shifts,
So what is the compass? The electromagnetic frequency that surrounds the planet has been disrupted by the
Right.
solar radiation.
Uh-huh.
So,
I really like to see more upcoming information about Antarctica.
oh, it's melting.
Try to keep us away from that. Yeah.
The cosmic rays have shot out of Antarctica, and they even show it on a Lil Wayne video. It's called Don't Cry.
Don't cry. I'm gonna have to look that up.
And watch the end where he's in the desert. He's in the
Okay.
desert, and stuff is shooting out, and stuff is melting in ice. So it's really weird. I think
Great time.
I think it's like the Tentacion lyrics in there as well, and his girlfriend, ex's girlfriend, is like the lady dancing in the desert with Lil Wayne. So it's very, very symbolic. You can decode that too.
Yeah.
Someone says they don't think Antarctica exists. I think Antarctica used to be part. I think. Okay, here's my theory of what happened, and then you can say if you feel that too. I think Atlantis was a real continent, and when it flooded or sank, a lot of the people went to distant lands in order to survive, and wherever they were on that continent, they went to the closest landmass. And I believe Antarctica was one of the closest landmasses to the southern part of it, and so forth and so forth. So Africa would be on one side, America would be on the other side, South America and Antarctica would be there as well, and then you would also have northern, like the Iberian Peninsula. So I think a lot of the people from Atlantis, as their nation or country, went under or went somewhere, they had to scatter among other nations. And that's why we have a lot of Rh negative blood in certain places as well, because where they scattered, you would see high amounts in concentrated areas of certain blood
types. To these places, what didn't take as long as it does now.
Right.
If you look at this nation, Turtle Island, it literally was shaped like a turtle. So.
And they have like that part in, Thoth the Atlantean, the Emerald Tablets. He even talks about going to the land of Kim from Atlantis.
So the original people, that definition, again, controversial, let it alone, but the original people. So it's people from the original people of North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. And who fits that description.
Right. I mean, if people connected the dots, they would understand, but I think that it's been really covered up, or what I call whitewashed, so that people don't see. But it'll reveal itself slowly, and that moment when it reveals itself it's not going to be one moment. It's going to be just over a time period, I believe, and people are just going to start accepting truth, because they're going to start putting it in TV and movies and Ancient Aliens. It's all going to come out. If you've noticed on Ancient Aliens, they started using the right images when referring to certain historical figures.
Yes.
And I've noticed that.
And on that mummy, the newest mummy that came out, that's Jibba writing. Even in Black Panther, the writing that will pop up in the beginning.
Right.
Jibba.
Wow. Someone is asking, how is this info serving mankind?
Mankind. How is it serving mankind? It's a message to you to either fold in with nature or be out of it. But it's making clearly who wants to be out of it and what will happen. So when Drake was saying YOLO, Well, that's for other people, people that want to choose to YOLO. You know,
Right.
some people live forever.
You only live once. So,
Right.
but that's not, So, how does this serve mankind? I'll answer that as well. So that was a really good answer, very politically correct. She says, who wants to fold back into nature and who wants to be outside of nature or not within nature? I'll say it a different way. Who wants to be an astronaut and who wants to be an explorer on the earth? Who wants to figure out the final frontier? Who wants to escape?
That.
Who wants to escape? I think that was one of MJ's albums and songs, Escape. Who wants to escape? Right. So a lot of people are under the a lot of people who listen and read New Age things, they feel that they are also able to escape, but they're missing one key ingredient. And so that's what I'll talk about on my channel a lot. So it's to help you realize how to get out of here. And it gives it to you a little bit at a time until it's obvious, until everyone wakes up. And that's why we are in a time loop.
Exactly. So those that still confused and hate Trump and all that stuff.
Yeah, because have you read the Book of Enoch?
Yes.
In the Book of Enoch, it says there will be a time on earth where the bodies in the heavens will not line up to the seasons. That's what's going on because of the flip.
Right now.
And then it also says that there will be a time where there is no time. That means a time loop. Until everyone, not just two people, but until everyone is able to go to the new next level. I'll just say that. And those who aren't and those who decide not to, it'll be their choice. And they right, there'll be a time given, and then if those people who are not as you would say folding back into nature, they will fold out of nature. And that will be that. So
and that's it. Yeah.
Then
so
it says
you're going to see repeated patterns of them trying to tell you that in several ways.
Right. Repeated patterns is the code. And then they said in the Book of Enoch after that, there will be a new sky, like there will be a new heaven. The old sky will fall away, and then a new sky will appear. So that's left up to your imagination. I'll just say that. Someone says
so I guess,
the fifth dimension.
Terrence Howard, his book is detailed. That's the same thing you're saying.
Yeah. Why is his focus on building Saturn? That's interesting to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And like his code was, I figured out how to build Saturn without gravity. That means in order to build Saturn without gravity, what would you have to be? You'd have to be dark plasma, dark energy, dark matter.
And so that's why he prefaced it with, I know when this gets out, it's going to make a lot of people angry. And his wife will have to move from where they are now.
But he was saying it in code. So you don't need gravity to build a planet, right? Because there's no gravity in space, right?
Right.
So how are the planets built if everything is based on gravity through dark matter and dark energy? And in order to build that, you must be that. In order to build planets, you must be consistent of that. So I think when people start decoding quantum physics, because science can be decoded. Once you start decoding science, it's a wrap. And I know all the scientists know this. I know Neil deGrasse Tyson know this. They can't say it. without saying it in code.
Yeah, when I watch him and Chuck, I just listen to the jokes and all the punchlines.
Chuck be on it, don't he?
He do.
Chuck introduces it.
Yes. So yeah, so it's nothing scary, nothing to fear.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it makes clear what the agenda is and who wants to be part of it.
Someone is asking, can we decode Pharrell's GQ magazine cover? Let me look this up. What does he have on?
Or like a big quilted gown.
Let me watch it. Let me look. Let me find the photo.
Yeah, look at the colors, yellow and green.
Oh, it's like a blanket.
Uh-huh.
That's
blanket.
Nice. I want that blanket. Well, to me, it looks gold.
Uh-huh.
It looks like the shape of a
edges.
pyramid.
Uh-huh.
It's a blanket.
And I was so focused on him possibly wearing a dress.
It says the new masculine. Let me turn it upside down and see what it looks like. It's hard to do that because I think it looks like a pyramid. I also think it looks like gold, black and yellow. You know, the mix. And I think it's code for the blanket or the cloth or the covering.
And so I guess
of the Son of Man.
When people say, well, you know, he's saying something about masculinity, so what is he saying? Be more feminine now? Is that what you think?
Well, I feel that the new masculine represents, as far as acceptance of self, and because, you know, the feminine energy comes in as well. That's dark matter. Like dark energy is feminine energy. So back in the old ancient Egyptian days and ancient Kemet, it was an honor to be, now this is like a strange fact, it was an honor to be given a wig as a man. Like if you're a man and someone gives you a wig, it was an honor, saying that the goddess approves of you. That doesn't mean that you were, you know, homosexual or gay. It just means the goddess has approved of you. And when the goddess approves of you, that means your acceptance into the ethers has been approved. And if you also think about it, hair is an electromagnetic conductor. You know, it builds a static electricity. And so it's very interesting that he has this outfit on, and it's shaped like a pyramid. It's black and yellow or golden yellow. That represents the Son of Man. And, you know, it also represents like, you know, the mix of the blood lines, but still has the melanin to get into the ethers. So the new masculine represents being accepted by the feminine.
Gotcha.
And being feminine, in this code would be being able to access the dark matter and the dark energy, being accepted back into the womb to be reborn.
Yeah, so when we see these celebrities do these outrageous things, we should look first what they're wearing, what they're, you know, decode that first.
Right, and that's why I it's hard for me to talk to people that just go straight off of ignorance, in ignorance and emotion, because it's, oh, why is he wearing it? Ooh, you know. So that's why I do my channel, because I think more people, if they just knew things, that they would react less. And, you know, sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's a test to see who's awake and who's not awake.
Exactly.
Who they can suck energy from and who they can't suck energy from. Because a lot of the times, you know, our energy is very much being used, and the people that are asleep are the ones that are the most tired, the most worn out, the most stressed, have the most anxiety because they're constantly feeding into all the media without understanding what it is. And they're constantly being drained every day, emotionally and otherwise.
Yeah, and these young rappers are signed by older rappers. Little Uzi Vert, who's he signed by? Rock Nation, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Little Uzi Vert, Little Uzi Vert. Why
Someone
Rock Nation sign him?
exactly.
So talk about, so Decode, yeah.
Someone says Alicia Keys allowing her son to paint his nails. I don't know about this one. That's what someone is saying.
Okay, I haven't read up on the story, but
the feminine is the creative side. As a child, I don't think children know what they want to be yet, and they're not even thinking about sex at all. It's just I want to paint. They see your nails. Oh, I want my nails to look. They're not thinking, oh, I want to sleep with a man. Adults over sexualize everything and then look at children and then adults to blame, but it's their own mind that is to blame. And, we do this to kids, not anyone else. So if a child wants to paint their nails, if a girl wants to paint a mustache on her face with some eyeliner, it's the same thing. I'm not going to think, oh, she's going to grow up and be a man, or, oh, he's going to grow up and try to be a woman. We do this because of what we've been programmed to. So leave the children alone. They'll figure it out. They're just connecting with their.
Yeah. So when you overdo it, look at what's going on now.
Right. And then, like, if you get mad and say, oh, that's wrong, what's the first thing they're going to think? They're going to feel guilty about it. They're going to think something's wrong with them. Then they're going to start looking up things. What's wrong with me? And then they're going to think, oh, I must be gay. What is gay? Oh, does that mean I like men? Well, I never really thought of, well, I don't even know what this is, but hey, let me go read about it because my mom said that I'm not supposed to be doing this. So that must mean something is wrong with me. It means I'm different. Maybe I'm gay. Guess what? I'm gay. So a lot of times the parents do this to the children. Just let them play. They don't know any better.
Absolutely agree.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you have a question for anybody? Why don't you ask a question? Or do you have a question for me?
Do I have a question for you? So, you always get flack about the dating thing. I mean, I know we, on this share start about this, but, how can you incorporate all of this to where you have a layer of your spirituality and healthier relationships so you don't seem parasitic?
How
You're a well-rounded woman.
How can you just ask it plain and straight out? We need to get it so I can answer it.
So how can you be spiritual, but still want to be a well-rounded, woman that's
not? Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Well, think about the ancient people. Think about the first people of royalty. How they selected their partners.
That's so true. Yeah.
They didn't select them because they had a six-pack or they had, they was cute. They selected them based on, what their family represented, what they represented, their power, the level of power that they had, A, B, C, and D.
That is true.
So that's what we have to go back to if we want to be back in that type of position. That's how I see it.
So you think if we do that, we will see less disruption in our relationship?
Yeah. Because you'll know the reason why you married that person or why you were in that relationship with that person. It's not going to be based off of emotion. It's going to be more based off of, getting to the next level, getting to the higher frequency, getting to the, getting your family to the higher level and the higher frequency, being able to have access to certain things and be in certain environments in order to stay focused on your ascension. Because it's very hard to be on a path of ascension, or even a spiritual path, if you don't have time for it.
Right.
And when, like, someone is saying survival, like if you're in survival mode all the time, or angry all the time because this man who looks better than you is out there cheating, of course he's gonna cheat. He looks better than you. I mean, why shouldn't he?
Right.
So take the stress out of things and marry like the ancient royalty used to marry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that because that is the central focus on part of this time with too. Better connections, better relationships, better, establishments with self.
Mm-hmm.
And then have that permeate outside of self.
Right.
Yeah, so that'll be key in this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I know you don't want to stay on longer than 30 minutes. Is there anything you want to end with or say as we wind this up?
So no, just as an eye opener, just really, go into this. We got the Scorpion, energy coming up, which is really revelation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things hidden will be revealed.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting few weeks. So just really, keep on decoding. Keep on looking up. You got the tools right there.
Right. So
for the rip in the fabric of these stories, because they're gonna keep on coming out with these stories. But look deeper. Was that hug just a coon hugging somebody, that just murdered somebody, or was that an actual engulfing hug?
Exactly.
That, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, I think I think the rappers and Kanye and like Jay-Z are onto something by putting code in their music to make a lot of people wake up. A lot of people get upset because I talk about celebrities and things like that. What is your take on these celebrities putting code in their music? Do you think it's very important, or because some people don't think it is, but I think it's super important because the youth.
Yeah, you just got to get past how. Like there was called back to, like I told you, those terms, black, that's old English, old just means original.
Okay,
so
well, why don't you explain that for us? Black, be lack.
Yeah, be lack.
Be in lack.
Old English for be lack, and so I don't want anything attached to me with lack.
So be in lack.
Be lack.
Yeah, I was explaining that's so true because
to make pale.
Right, on the electromagnetic spectrum. Exactly.
So it's to make. So it's a creator, and it's nothing bad about that. It's just a create. It's just we can, get melanin in or take it out.
Right.
And so we're, scientists, so we can figure out what happens when you have a lot of melanin in, and what happens when it's electric. And I thank you for that that site that had the electric melanin, not that electric melanin, but electric. Just talking about the different hieroglyphs.
Mm-hmm. God electric.
Look that up too. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, you can see what happens when you have a lot of that, and then what happens when you lack in that. Right. And so when you switch the terms, when people were associating themselves with, language and land and those connections. So when you switch it,
So what would you call? What word do you use? When you want to describe,
to be honest, when I'm out in commerce,
mm-hmm.
I'm white.
Mm-hmm. So white.
And white is not synonymous with pale skin.
Okay, so
when everyone was laughing at Rachel Dolezal, she was telling you, I'm black, if anything.
So that was code.
Right. Everyone wanted to laugh and make her a fool, just like they did with Tesla. No, Tesla wasn't talking about race, but he was saying when you have a lot of melanin in one area, that's electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when people ask you what's your race, what do you say?
I'm white.
Okay, and then if
now,
they look,
my family still joke around in private. There's a public sector and a private
So what do they do when
Okay.
they look at you and they see that you're not your skin color is not the same as a what I would call a Caucasian? Then what do they say?
Well, they can, people going to identify you however they want to from their understanding,
Mm-hmm.
but it's what you profess.
Okay. So if I
So when they check those boxes, and again, and these, like I said, the government gives you the problem, but they also give you the antidote. But has anybody checked any boxes lately? Had any forms where they check their ethnicity? Look at what it says.
so
Black. Black from the black racial groups of Africa.
uh-huh.
Come on. Do Africans call themselves black? They now that they're over here want to bond with you because that's the word you use. But when they go home, they do not.
So you check white?
Yes.
Okay. I check all of them.
It tells you right there, a person from the original people of North Africa, Middle East, and Europe. Europe is named after Europa, Ethiopian princess.
Yeah, and the moon
Mm-hmm.
on Saturn. Or was that Jupiter?
Yeah.
Oh, I just check all the boxes. They're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, you can.
I'll be leaving them confused.
But we're talking about destroying the poison, call it for what it is, what they said that you never could be. And that was a lie.
Right.
What they tell you could never be. Why?
Mm-hmm. Well, technically, if you go by electromagnetic spectrum, in the flesh, you register as what? In the color spectrum, right?
Uh-huh.
And after
there's different things, yeah.
Right after you leave this body, then you become dark. Not black, but dark. Dark is just unseen, too fast to be seen.
Uh-huh.
So that's whenever I talk about dark energy and dark magic, it's not the same as black magic.
Exactly. Right.
Like that's what I was trying to explain, but no one understood that. So black would be the electromagnetic spectrum with the least vibration or the least energy, and dark would be the most energy because it is moving so fast that it is labeled dark because it cannot be seen. That's what you see when you look into the ethers, the dark matter. Doesn't mean that it's not there. So that's what she's talking about.
Remember Beyonce's song "To the Left, to the Left"?
Yep, that exactly. Sasha decoded that.
Yeah.
Sasha was like, yeah. And she was taking back all his stuff. She was taking back his gold, his car. You see?
Yeah.
That was code for his melanin.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent them home in a cab. You know what a cab is.
Right. So I guess maybe take the anger out of maybe seemingly being misled, because we feel that these, celebrities should be just outright saying these things, but they're bound by contracts. And
they depend on people on YouTube to decode it.
Right.
That's why they made YouTube.
So true.
And that's why, a lot of people ask me why they don't take my channel down, why other people say similar things and get, their video taken down or blah, 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 blah.
You gotta profess the truth.
For telling the truth and A, B, C, and D. I found a way around it because I use alchemy. And the same thing with my other channel, my Shira 7 channel. People are saying, oh, men who make similar videos or other people that make similar videos, their channels get taken down. Well, you have to figure out, you got to be the smarter person and figure out how not to get it taken down. Because if you do that, they automatically assume that you know what you're doing and that you need to stay up. You know what I mean?
So yeah, instead of getting upset, figure out what you're doing that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get that accomplished.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I really enjoyed talking to you, not just for the the camera, but it's very interesting to get your point of view and refreshing to talk to someone else that understands, on the same level. And I know a lot of people don't have anybody in their real life, to know this stuff. I'm lucky that I have Sasha and Layla to kind of talk to this stuff, talk about things with. And, it was refreshing talking to another person about it.
You're doing a good job, and I just really want to commend you for doing that. A lot of people, once they get, the negativity, they shut it down. So I appreciate you. Still keep on going. Support will grow.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's inevitable.
Yeah, I grew up before the internet, so we dealt with real negativity. This ain't no negativity.
Exactly.
This is jokes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for giving me that time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You'll have to come back on again, and we'll do the I Have a Dream speech.
Oh, yeah. We'll I got my notes ready.
Okay.
I seen that. I said, wow. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
So let me know.
Okay. Well, say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. I'll see you in the comments.
And she's Karmic Kitty. So when y'all see her in the comments, y'all can talk to her in there and, whatnot. And do you have a YouTube channel, or you don't have any videos up yet, but y'all can, keep in touch with her by subscribing to her YouTube.
I might put one up there.
Yeah, you should.
It's about time.
Okay. And maybe I'll come and be a guest on yours.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay, you as well. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. I hope I didn't show them your phone number so they'll be calling you because I've been flashing.
Oh, no.
Just block. They might call you for trying to get a date or something.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I did not mean to show that, but thank y'all for tuning in. That was Karmic Kitty, like I said, and she's always in the comments and also in the comments on the community section. So I guess I'll talk to you guys for a few more minutes if y'all have any questions for me, and then I gotta go. Just a few seconds. If y'all have any questions on anything that was discussed. If not, then I'm gonna go. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for everybody who was here. Oh, has anyone decoded Travis Scott High's room? I think I kind of touched on that, but I can do a video and discuss it in depth. Gravity, ghosts, and spirits. Well, outside of the atmosphere, in space, there's no gravity. So in order to be a soul or spirit, when you're out in the ethers, gravity is not an issue. Right. Because a soul is basically plasma. And plasma, there's dark plasma. Look up dark plasma. That's also like dark energy, dark matter. It's vibrating so fast it can't be seen, but it holds everything in place. It's like the glue that holds everything together and everything in place. Okay. So I'll see y'all later. Thank you.